Expanding my range yet again because this is another movie I was gonna pass up. Boy, am I glad I didn't. The Black Phone. So The Black Phone is a new horror movie directed by Scott Derrickson, and it's based off a short story that was written by the son of Stephen King, Joe Hill. So The Black Phone takes place in 1978 in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. There's a serial killer in this small town. He's known as the Grabber. He's played by Ethan Hawke. He's known for kidnapping kids and they go missing. And so our main protagonist kid in this movie, his name is Finn. He gets kidnapped by the Grabber. He gets thrown into a cell and now he has to survive. But wait, there's a catch. In this cell, there's a black phone on the wall, and sometimes this kid will get calls from the spirits of this killer's past victims. And so they're gonna try to help him get out of there. And now we have our movie, which, oh my god, this movie really surprised me in the best way possible. It's funny, as the movie was starting off, I was like, alright, build up, I get it. But the more it went on, I was like, okay, I'm getting really into this. And at a point, I found myself being really invested in this story. And it's because everything was executed perfectly for what the story is. I mean, first of all, Finn, you grow really emotionally attached to him. And it's for a few reasons. One, the kid who plays him, Mason Thames, is really good, and he definitely has a bright future ahead of him. And two, his character is a total underdog. His family situation is not the best, he gets bullied at school. He just has bad luck. It's a classic Charlie Brown case, which makes him really sympathetic. Great way to relate. Also great in this movie, to no one's surprise, Ethan Hawke. Not only is his character really interesting, because yeah, we never really see him without at least part of his mask on, but also Ethan Hawke's performance. His voice, the way he talks is really menacing. Cause you know, he never raises his voice, he's always really calm, and he's talking through a mask, which makes it scarier. So he's like, yes kid, I'm gonna leave you down here and I'm gonna come down and feed you every once in a while and you're just gonna be here. And I'll be back down to check on you in a little while. It's pretty menacing stuff. But I also gotta give all sorts of props to the kid who plays Finn's sister, Gwen. Madeline McGraw is the actress's name, and she's surprisingly great as well. In fact, there were some moments with her that were surprisingly emotional. One moment towards the end, man, I found myself tearing up. I was like, what? I did not expect this. Way to go, kid. One of the many surprises of this movie. The greatest thing this movie does, in my opinion, is that it gives the protagonist a solid half hour, it feels like, of build-up. Yeah, I will say, Finn doesn't get kidnapped until what feels like half an hour into the movie, which you might think would make the movie feel slow since it is less than 2 hours long. But on the contrary, this movie's pacing was perfect. Is it slow? Yes, but I mean, what's the alternative? It just rushes through its plot? Well, don't do that, that's terrible. Let the drama sink in, let us emotionally attach ourselves to the characters. So by the time Finn gets kidnapped, we are attached to him, and therefore we are rooting for him to get out of the situation. That's how you do it, man. You gotta give us a reason to give a shit about the kid. Otherwise, what is the point? The writers knew that. Great job, C. Robert Cargill. Carlisle from Spill.com has come a long way. Oh yeah, I went there. Now, like I said, this movie does have a few Stephen King isms throughout, and you definitely notice them if you've seen movies like the It movies, or really if you know anything about Stephen King. This movie being based off a short story written by his son, it makes sense at least. But honestly, if you didn't know that this movie was based off of a story written by Stephen King's son, then you would assume that it was based off of a book by Stephen King himself. It feels that much like a Stephen King story at times. I mean, just certain elements of the movie I'm not gonna spoil, but I was like, that reminds me of It, that reminds me of It. I love the It movies, what can I say? I don't know if the original short story is like that, or if the filmmakers were like, hey, you're the son of Stephen King, but your story doesn't feel like a Stephen King story, but in order to sell to the audiences and, you know, have them give the movie better reviews, we're gonna inject this movie with some Stephen King isms because people like Stephen King. I just don't know, but it worked. And yes, this being a scary movie, it is really tension-filled, which was another surprise to me. Cause honestly, and this is just my mindset, non-supernatural things that are supposed to be scary, like I look at Michael Myers, for example, he's just a guy in a mask who stabs people. That's not really the scariest thing I've ever seen when it comes to movies. Supernatural things like demons and shit, like in The Conjuring, yeah, that scares the fuck out of me. But plain old human beings in masks, yeah, they don't keep me up at night. But in the case of this movie, that's just not true. The way the scenes were set up around Ethan Hawke and the situation, the cell that Finn is being kept in, and how Ethan Hawke would occasionally come down and just be threatening and looming over this kid, it almost reminded me of 10 Cloverfield Lane, you know, with John Goodman. Same kind of vibe, except a little dimmer and scarier. Cause at least the bunker in 10 Cloverfield Lane was a nice living situation, you know? I mean, there was an aquarium with fish. This is just one room, a bathroom over there, one tiny window, and a black phone. And that's it. So good job movie on that. The lighting was absolutely fantastic in this movie, I gotta say. I usually don't talk about lighting in my reviews, but I got to in this case, cause it really did stand out. Cause the lighting, or lack thereof, was fantastic. Now that being said, there is a supernatural element in this movie, with the spirits of the past victims calling Finn on the phone. But again, the way it was executed, it wasn't just in your face, oh now there's something really CGI, it's all supernatural and whoa, shock factor. It's not like that. It goes for the subtlety. That is how you do it. It slowly builds it up. It slowly introduces this supernatural element into the story in a way that feels believable and real. You're like, no, I totally buy this. There is something weird going on here. Yeah, it does feel like a Stephen King story. Again, that's another part that adds to it. There are some things that remind me of The Shining, but it was cool though, and it totally worked. And one more thing that added to the overall great atmosphere and tone of this movie, you know it, it's the music. The underscore in this movie is amazing. I don't know who the composer is because I've never heard his name before, I don't think. But nah, man, like in some of these scenes where the tension is rising, the music definitely contributes to that feeling. In fact, it's quite a huge part of it. All sorts of props to the score in this movie, seriously. And also some of the songs in the film, like licensed songs, this movie taking place in the 70s, I recognized pretty much all of them. I was like, dude, that's Pink Floyd, that's awesome. So that's always a plus. Guys, in the end, The Black Phone is the biggest surprise of the year to me so far. I loved everything about it. I love the acting, I love the setup of the scenes, I love the story, I love the characters. Everything clicked in this movie, man, especially the build-up and the emotion. Those are the two best things about it, and those really worked. Again, I can't believe I was gonna pass this movie up. I gotta get out there and see more stuff. I gotta expand my range more because for The Black Phone, I will say, go see this movie right now. I always love a good surprise. This is one of the best surprises I've seen in a while. So The Black Phone, have you seen it yet? What do you think about it? And what is a Stephen King, or at least Stephen King-ish story that you would like to either see be made into a movie, or if it's already been made into a movie, have it be remade? You know what I'm trying to say. Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!